Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of Through the People's Lens Reimagining Workforce and Talent, an exclusive video interview series brought to you by ETHRWorld EMEA and PeopleStrong. I'm Yasmin Taj, editor features for ETHRWorld EMEA and ET Education for the Economic Times, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you all today. Through this series, we spotlight leading CHROs from top organizations across the Middle East region. Our interviews delve into how forward-thinking HR leaders are pioneering futuristic strategies to build a resilient, agile, and future-ready workforce. Each interview will focus how these CHROs are transforming talent management and aligning their workforce with the ever-evolving world of work. We will host 10 such in-depth interviews with key CHROs, each providing valuable insights into innovative HR practices, cutting-edge technologies, and the future of talent. Our interviews will not only address current trends, but also share unique, actionable strategies to help organizations thrive in the age of automation, AI, and digital transformation. And the theme for today's interview specifically is EX 2.0, building moments of truth that matter for employees. And to further dive into these insights, today I have the pleasure of hosting George Sedky, CHRO for GB Corp, along with Mrigank Tripathi, President Growth PeopleStrong. Welcome, leader. It is such a pleasure to have you on board with us today.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And before we start the conversation, let me briefly introduce our leaders for today's episode. George Sedky, CHRO at GB Corp, is a seasoned HR leader and consultant with a proven track record of delivering strategic value across diverse industries. With expertise in performance management, training and development, compensation and benefits, and organizational development, George has implemented innovative methodologies to enhance organizational performance. Over the past 12 years, he has also contributed to multinational and local companies in Egypt and abroad, successfully delivering business benefits worth approximately $15 million. His practical knowledge and leadership make him a transformative force in the HR domain. Coming on to Mrigank now. Mrigank is a strategy consultant turned digital entrepreneur turned growth leader. He is a core member of the HCM business, leading growth and expansion globally for PeopleStrong. An MBA from INSEAD, Mrigank is a builder at heart, a serial entrepreneur. He has channeled his energies towards building companies, the latest being acquired and part of the PeopleStrong product suite. So once again, a very warm welcome to both my leaders. I want to start with a few interesting questions. And George, let's do a rapid fire first so that you can start by answering some short questions for me. We warm up with the conversation and then we deep dive into the topic for today. So I hope that's okay.
Sure, Yasmin, go ahead.
Okay. So, George, my first question to you is what's your proudest achievement as the CHRO at GB Corp so far?
This question comes in a typical time because we just finished our town hall right now for our executive and middle management level, and we were presenting our achievement for the last year and our plans for 2025. So it comes to at the very good time. What made me very proud today of of the achievements we did as CHRO for a mega group like GB Corp working in the automotive and the non-banking financial service is of course a very strategic initiatives that align the company's growth with and people-oriented goals. This can be like transforming the employee experience, like implementing innovative HR practices, which enhanced employee engagement, retention, and satisfaction across multiple regions to the extent that our turnover for the last year didn't exceed 6% over the whole group, which is a very remarkable turnover figure according to our industry benchmarks. Leadership development program is something we also very proud of for designing and executing impactful training and leadership programs and aligning these programs. For the last year, we aligned our programs and we took a theme of psychological safety and we delivered it to the executives, middle management, and first management layers. So we took the same tone for all the levels. The culture transformation, something also we are very proud of we led a very strong and aggressive cultural shift that fostered collaboration, innovation, and
Sure.
inclusion within the organization. This a very few examples of what I can and the entire HR team can be proud of our achievement at GB Corp.
Good notes, so many achievements to boast of actually. So we have stepped into 2025, George. What's your biggest people-related challenge? Just one challenge.
One challenge only?
Yeah, just one challenge. Yeah, this is a rapid
Of,
fire.
yeah, of course, the talent acquisition.
Talent
Talent
acquisition. Oh,
acquisition, yeah. We are suffering of a very limited and a very shrink talent pie in Egypt right now due to the macroeconomic situation. Of course, the talent
yeah,
acquisition and the attraction of talent is one of our biggest challenge nowadays.
lovely. Great. Thanks for sharing that. Now, what is that one word that defines employee experience at GB Corp for you?
One word, innovative.
One word. Innovative.
Innovative.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Great.
We're showcasing, we already showcased today a lot of our innovative approaches and a lot of new ideas led by our employees in 2024.
Yeah, lovely. Great. Thanks for sharing. Final rapid fire question for you, George. What is that one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self starting out in HR?
Turning out that the HR, I think, adopted change and to be adaptable.
Yes, lovely.
This
I think that's the way. Yeah,
yeah,
totally
yeah,
agree
yeah.
with you. Yeah.
Our CEO also focused very much on this today, and he told us what kept us successful till now in such very tough macroeconomic situation is the adaptability. So my message will be adopt the change and be adaptable.
Yeah, lovely. Be adaptable and adapt to the change. Thank you so much. Coming to the deep dive questions now, and we are talking about moments of truth that matter. And I think moments of truth can differ greatly across organizations today. So, George, as a leader, especially in the mobility sector, GB Corp has very rich legacy and a strong connection to innovation in automotive and transportation solutions. So, what moments of truth have you identified as being most impactful for your employees? And how do you design and implement them to foster meaningful engagement and also align them with GB Corp's mission of driving mobility advancement?
Moments of truth. I have to be very true in this. At GB Corp, where innovation and excellence in mobility are at the core of the organization's identity. Moments of truth that shape our employee experience and engagement are revolving around pivotal interactions, decisions, opportunities, which aligned the mission of advancing automotive and transportation solution and the non-banking financial services with what we do. And an example of this initiative is the new onboarding program, and setting the stage for success. The impact for this new onboarding program that it is the first experience of the people who joining GB Corp, and
Mhm.
it defined how new hires connect with the
True.
company's legacy, culture, and mission. The design, how we designed and implemented it, we designed a very comprehensive onboarding program that introduced employees to GB Corp's rich history, innovation, milestones, and future goals, while connecting their roles to the company's broader mission. We implemented this through interactive sessions with leaders, hands-on exposure to cutting-edge mobility project, and to enhance the alignment with the people. Another initiative, I do not want to take so much time, but I will be very concise, is the learning and development. Learning and development comes to the heart of what we are doing, because we see the impact of the learning and development in the providing opportunities for upskilling our employees, reskilling our employees also for the new and the future of jobs, and contributing to groundbreaking solution in mobility or non-banking financial services to inspire and push the employees to excel and innovate. How we designed this through rigorously having innovative learning path through the GB Training Academy, focusing on future trends in the work environment, emerging technologies, leadership development, and integrating real world case studies and cross-functional collaboration to ensure that the employees see their growth tied to the industry they are working on. Of course, there are a lot, but I need to be very concise into the learning and development and the onboarding achievements still.
Great. Thank you so much. I think, as you said, moments of truth all start from the day you are onboarding your employees, you're hiring, till the time you take care of their careers by helping them upskill themselves, learn better, perform better. So thank you for sharing that, George. Really, really interesting examples you had. Mrigank, I'd like to come to you and hear you next. I think moments of truth are transformative in shaping how employees perceive their organizations. So, in your opinion, what defines a truly impactful moment of truth? And how can organizations design moments to align with their culture and values?
I think, and George put it across very, very brilliantly, wherein he said that, at the start itself is one big moment of truth. But if I were to really condense it, there are primarily three moments of truth. And the second of them can keep on happening again and again till the time the third one comes. First is at the time of joining the company. Second is the time of a promotion. Third is at the time of exiting the company. Hopefully the talent will stay with you long enough that the promotions keep on happening again and again. So that's why I said maybe the second point will keep on repeating itself. But really, I mean, think about it from an employee's perspective, right? When the person is joining, is he actually just handed over a leaf of papers to sign and fill out the forms and say, here is my canceled check and so on and so forth? Or is it a digital onboarding system which you can actually do even before you join? Can you actually understand a bit about the company from before you join? Is there a buddy that can introduce you a bit to the company before you join? So all of these are important elements, right? And that talks volumes about how a company looks at it. We obviously always propagate, especially in fast-moving industries where maybe churn is high and attrition is high, that this should definitely be a digital process wherein it should be done over WhatsApp or something which is very, very digital, which is there in someone's hands rather than somebody having to go to a web interface and log in and stuff. That's a big area, and it shows a lot about whether the company is willing to come forward to where the employee or potential employee is, or is it just like, you please follow where I'm at? That's a big one. The second is at the time of promotion or trying to fill in a specific place. If, let's say, there's a branch manager that needs to be hired by a company, typically the first thought is, where are we going to get this from? Let's put out a recruitment requirement. Let's look internally. Look internally within your organization. If you're a 5,000 or a 10,000 or a 15,000 people organization, you will most probably have somebody or the other who's capable enough to take that on. And a lot of companies don't look at it like that. I mean, maybe it's because of lack of technology, maybe it's because of lack of a structured talent development program or talent management program, but a lot of companies don't look at it. So how are you going to promote your internal employee? And is it that the employee needs to ask for it, or is it that the manager will go up and say, look, I think now you're ready for this, and the manager is actually invested into that? That talks again a lot about how long the person will stay. And the third is really at the time of exit. How are you going to exit the employee? Was it an acrimonious exit or was it a harmonious exit? Either ways, it's the same employee who's going to be your ambassador out there. So when you close the relationship out with that employee can influence your stock price to your future hires to everything else. So that's really the approach that I would say. And these three areas are fairly big in the overall scenarios of truth, or the really, really truthful moments for any employee. I think also one other point that I want to mention is, even for the company themselves, there is a moment of truth. The moment of truth about how good are we at talent management is decided when you really have a position. And what's your first thought? Don't worry, I've got this. And I will go internally and look for it, or no, I will have to go externally and hire somebody. So that's also a moment of truth also for the company as well. So not just the employee, but also the company. I think systems and processes can actually define those moments of truth for both sides.
Yeah, thanks, Mrigank, for breaking it down so interestingly. I think, as you said, the word I caught on to was investing. How are you investing in these different stages, life stages or career stages for employees? It's a very interesting way to look at it. And also for the employer, as you said, their own systems, their own processes, those will help them create those moments of truth. So thanks for sharing that. And coming back to you, George, I think we spoke about how culture is also very critical. So, could you share some examples of cultural practices or values that have driven meaningful and positive moments of truth for your workforce?
Culture at GB Corp is the bedrock of any organization, not GB Corp in specific, but it is indeed it is the bedrock of any organization. Fostering a sense of belonging while driving innovation in our industries stems from specific practices and values that align with the company's mission and vision. One practice I can there are many practices, but let's start with the innovation. As I told you, innovation is very crucial to us, and it represents a core value in what we are doing. So we started as a practice to encourage and reward the creativity through innovation challenges or some innovation hub. We have our innovation hub in GB Corp, where employees and other parts can pitch and prototype transformative solution in the industries we are working. The impact of this practice is that employees feel empowered to contribute to GB Corp leadership in our industries, and it fostered a sense of purpose and ownership. Another practice is collaboration across borders. Since GB Corp is working across many regions, so we start to promote a global culture of collaboration by facilitating cross regional and cross-functional project synergies across different industries. The impact of such practice is that employees experienced the power of teamwork, and they felt that when they collaborate and having this teamwork with each other, they have the synergy. They are synergized and they feel connected to a larger global mission, and this also enhances their sense of belonging. Another practice is to recognize and celebrate the employee success by having some programs like GB Hero, some programs which recognize seniority, some programs which recognize the big achievement people make from innovative, from keeping our own values. We have our value keeper recognition, everything like this. When you have such practices, the individuals and team contributions are recognized, which reinforces the importance of their role and having a positive and motivative culture, learning and growth. This is my last thing, practice I can talk of you also the time, learning and growth as a culture cornerstone. Learning and growth as a culture cornerstone. We supported employees through career development initiatives such as customized learning path in our training academy, in GB Training Academy, and also mentorship programs, development programs like GB Stars for the young leaders to prepare them for the future. The impact of this is that employees perceive their growth as integral to the company's success, and of course it enhances motivation and retention. Other practice, of course, is the employee well-being as a priority driven purpose-driven engagement, that we engage with the people with a purpose, that it is very important to engage with the people, and there is a purpose in this, like CSR projects, like having our own schools as Vabur Foundation schools.
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting thought process. Thanks for sharing that, George. I think, as you said, from the moment you look at and how you invest in innovation to how you invest in your employees' learning and development, and finally, how do you create that purpose for them? How do you align their purpose, their aspirations with the mission and values of your own organization? That's very, very critical. You're looking at creating that kind of an employee experience, and those moments of that matter. So, thank you for sharing that. Mrigank, I think you just heard George talk about how culture is so critical in building that positive employee experience. It is the bedrock of it, actually. So, how do you think an organizations leverage their unique cultural strengths to create meaningful moments that truly resonate deeply with their workforce?
I'm a big believer in the old adage of mind, body, and soul. And if there is no harmony between the mind, the body, and the soul, then there will never be harmony in your personal life or in your work life, or the employee will always be at strife with himself or herself. My personal belief and I speak about this to multiple CHROs, and I hope to do so with George also one day in person over a cup of coffee, is that
So,
your mind is occupied by your work. So your work must be challenging enough that your mind keeps on getting ticked. Body is really your health. If you're not healthy, a healthy mind will not reside in an unhealthy body. And your soul is something that is really your passion. So what is it that will drive you on a day-to-day basis? And it does not necessarily have to relate to work. I disagree with the point that all your purpose must be towards work. No. I mean, I want to do charity. I want to go and feed somebody. I want to help out somebody. That's not necessarily related to work. But the question is, does the organization understand it? Does the organization appreciate it? Does the organization give us enough freedom to be able to do it, and gives us the avenues to be able to do it? So if you're giving me challenging work, if you're giving me an environment or challenging me enough through some programs or through my colleagues where I keep healthy, and if you're giving me a space to be able to channelize my purpose, my inner motivation, something that really excites me on a day-to-day basis, why would I want to leave? I'm getting money to be able to stay healthy, and my purpose is being met. So why do I need to go somewhere else? And these are very important things, and maybe this happens more at a slightly later stage, maybe not so at the absolute front line where only maybe one element is more important. So at different stages of the employee life cycle, different things will matter. You need to have much more personalized cultural tenets that will resonate with somebody at the absolute front line than somebody who's like 5 years into the environment, somebody who's 10 years, and somebody who's 20 years. That's the way that one needs to really sort of build this out. But there are many things that can definitely happen. And I've seen many companies, and maybe also helped a few companies design them for that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's about meeting your employees where they're at, as you said,
Yeah.
understanding the core that matters to them when it comes to their mind, body, their soul, and then aligning it with the overall culture and values of your organization. Very, very interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Mrigank. Coming to another cornerstone, which is very, very important when it comes to building a meaningful employee experience, and that is technology. So, George, technology is a cornerstone of EX 2.0, offering opportunities to personalize and enhance the employee journey. So, are there any specific technologies or innovative practices tied to mobility or the workforce development that you believe have transformed employee experience at GB Corp?
yes, of course. One example of the practice and the technology we use is our new mobile app for the HR. It is called GB People Mobile App. It's a total platform, an entire platform which offers for all employees to access all the HR service. They can submit their leave requests, enroll in training, track their project updates, enabling on the go connectivity in time. Even they can have their learning path across this mobile app. They can have their approvals. The impact of such technology or technology practice like GB People mobile app is that employees, especially in the field roles like sales or operation, they experience it greater convenience and connectivity. Also for the technology part, we use the data analytics, the productivity analytics for workforce planning, to use the data analytics to predict the workforce trends, identify the skill gaps, and proactively design strategies for talent acquisition as one of our biggest challenges, and also for the retention of the people. The impact of this employee, of course, benefit from forward-looking HR strategies that align with their development needs and the company's goals. Communication of engagement and productivity through various digital communication channel to introduce the employee benefits and the updates of GB Corp through the different communication channel. Also for the sustainability by providing like EVs, electric vehicles for the employees, and to enhance on or to enhance our part in the eco and the environmental part. Of course, the last thing I can remember of this is the wellness technology, how to integrate the wellness with the technology, how to have these apps and these ongoing apps to provide like wearable devices or wellness app that track physical and mental health metrics paired with incentives for achieving wellness goals. Of course, employees feel when applying such thing, we will start applying this thing in 2024, this practice in 2025. Employees, I think, will feel supported in their holistic well-being and enhancing their satisfaction and loyalty. So I think last, by aligning that technology with
Yeah.
GB Corp's mission of advancing mobility and financial service and empowering its workforce, the organization at GB Corp can deliver a truly transformative employee experience that fosters engagement, that fosters innovation and growth.
Pretty
Okay,
exhaustive.
great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think very, very exhaustive. The way technology has kind of actually been the bedrock for the transformation you've done at GB Corp, especially when it comes to employees. It's been very, very impressive to hear, George. Thank you for sharing that, especially the whole mobile app to make it, people deal with HR issues is on their mobiles, to their wellness, to their well-being, to automating some tasks for them, which are which will help them perform better at their work. Very interesting example. So thanks for sharing that. Mrigank, I think we all know that PeopleStrong has been at the forefront of HR tech innovation. So how is the company leveraging technology, including AI, to craft unique and personalized moments of truth for its employees? And it would be great if you could share an example of a recent initiative that reflects this.
Sure. No, I think two or three key areas that I will talk about. One is the whole talent landscape, right? Talent is talent is an area where everything is usually looked at in silos. There is recruitment, there is learning, there is performance, there is compensation, there is organization building, there is career and skills. And everything you have a head, there's a TA head, there's a performance head, there's X, there's Y. Our belief is that talent needs to be looked at in a holistic manner. And so what we've done is actually integrated all of these areas together, which can then go and sit on top of any existing system and function very easily over there. That's something that we've done in the region also with the likes of Omantel and Fly Dubai and a bunch of other companies as well. And they're utilizing us on their existing systems quite well. That has been quite a seminal moment because most companies have found that there is either some data gaps that'll exist, or there will be some problems in integration, or that something will not work and stuff. So that's one thing that we've done, which has also helped from an employee perspective, because now the biggest question that employees ask is, I don't know what is the growth path that I have in this company. And that's why there's a lot of attrition, right? But now with our skills framework, you can, and every employee and every manager can actually ask the employee to go and see their own path of growth directly on the system, very transparently. This is exactly what you need to do. They will also be able to understand what is the path that's required for it, what is the learning that they need to do for it. And everything is now linked in using artificial intelligence. That's one element. And we, like I said, we recently implemented this at Omantel. So they're quite happy about that. The other area, which is just purely artificial intelligence, is I think there's a lot of discussion that happens around AI, but very little real use of AI. So for example, what is it that AI can really help every single employee with? The biggest issues that we realized is employees want to know what is the simple things like lead balance. They want to figure out where's my last pay slip. They want to understand something around some issue that they were facing. Artificial intelligence can now do that automatically. And we've already implemented some of these agents for some of our customers where they can go in there, ask a question, and it'll give them the answer directly without them having to do anything. So that's another thing. But I think the big learning for us is that every single company has got a different requirement that they have. Every single company. So somebody wants to have, let's say, all my product knowledge should be available on using AI. All my setup knowledge should be available using AI. All my regulatory information should be available using AI. Whatever that information is, it can be made very, very succinctly available just through a simple chat interface. Ask them whatever, it'll give you the information. And that's been quite a huge one for some of the larger companies, because while we might think these are very basic questions, these are the questions that the frontline wants to know. And these are this is the heaviest amount of load. And I'm sure George will agree that when I say that, the maximum amount of load that comes is the basic questions. How do you just remove that from your HR team? How do you ensure that they're not burdened by it anymore? We're utilizing AI for that. We're utilizing AI in performance management. We're utilizing AI also now in payroll and in some of the recruitment side as well. So just to be able to sort of just imagine if I could just take away the load of your recruiter to go and figure out from those 1,000 CVs that have come, which are the top 100. AI will do it for you, and it will come and say, here is the list. Just evaluate only these 100. So those are all the things that we're doing now, which I think is being appreciated. And of course, there's a long way to go still. But yeah, we've taken our first few small steps. We hope to take some big strides also.
Yeah, I think these are some big strides already, if I may say, because the kind of technology you've brought in, especially for the skills framework, the other automation tasks, talent acquisition, all of that. I think you're truly at the forefront of it. So thanks for sharing these examples. It helps others also build on how they can use technology in all these aspects in order to create better moments of truth that matter for their employees. So thanks for sharing that,
Yeah,
Mrigank.
I'd say just
Coming
one
back
other
to
point. Just one other
yeah,
point that I
yeah,
must mention. I feel very proud when I do
yes,
mention this. I think, frankly,
yes,
the real moment of truth for us in changing the experience of any employee is to see that we are the world's #1 rated app on the App Store.
yeah,
Like above any other HR technology company, we're the #1. And I think that really is the moment of truth for us personally. Our
great,
employees are
yes,
loving us so much that they're rating us like that. Fantastic. And with
yeah,
80,000 plus reviews.
yeah.
So that is a big moment of truth for
Wow,
me.
I think that's a great point to mention. I think because that actually says that, as you said, the proof is in the pudding. So it's right out there, right? That people
Yeah,
can
exactly.
see how. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Coming back to you again, George. I think one thing is very critical and crucial when it comes to all our initiatives. It's about finding out the effectiveness of that. So understanding and measuring the effectiveness of employee experience initiatives is also very, very crucial. So how are you leveraging data and analytics to gain insights into employee needs and assess the impact of it through your EX program? And it would be great if you could share some example or you could a specific improvement in your employee experience that went on by aligning it with your organizational goals.
Okay, let me split the question on what we are doing and an example of what we did and its impact. First of
Okay.
all, GB Corp, where innovation and excellence are central to the mission, leveraging data and analytics to assess and enhance the employee experience is essential. How GB Corp effectively used the data is like leveraging data and analytics in the employee experience in EX through first thing might be the employee engagement surveys. We conducted like 2 or 3 years. We started to conduct 2 or 3 years ago regular surveys to gather feedback on this satisfaction, leadership, effectiveness, and cultural alignment. We use
Yeah.
advanced data analytics to identify trends and actionable insights. Sentiment and analytics on communication platforms. As I told you before,
Yes.
we very much digital platforms for communication. So we started to employ AI tools to analyze employee sentiment in emails, chats, platform, to identify the moral trends and potential pain points in real time. Performance, as we are a very high performance work culture, performance and productivity metrics. We have the data analytics to track key performance indicators, the KPIs like project completion rates, the training uptake, innovation contribution. Also, in addition to the engagement survey, we used pulse surveys. We can use our mobile app for some pulse surveys for real-time feedback. Also, we can deploy a quick focus surveys to gauge the impact of any new initiatives. Data analytics when it comes to attrition, retention, diversity and inclusion metrics. Also, the wellness programs effectiveness can be also enhanced through data analytics. An example of enhancing one of our through data analytics is enhancing career growth opportunities because from the engagement surveys, surveys revealed that there is a significant portion of mid-level employees felt stagnant and in their roles with limited visibility on career advancement path. What we the actions took in this part is having customized development plans, is having various mentorship programs, is having an internal job market, to have internal hiring policy that all positions to be announced internally for people to feel mobility across the entire organization. Of course, the data showed a 25% increase in employee satisfaction scores related to career growth, and maybe a 15% reduction in mid-level turnover in within a year.
Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing that, George. And I also agree that, as I said earlier, it's the employees who decide what's working for them or not. So the most important thing is to get their feedback generally, whether your initiatives on employee experience are working to them, and data from that helps you make better decisions for the future. So that's a great way to look at it. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Coming on to you, Mrigank, effective employee experience strategies require robust measurement. So how does PeopleStrong utilize data and analytics to assess and enhance EX outcomes? And it would be great if you could share an example of how these insights have driven meaningful change within or for your clients.
Sure. I think firstly, like George said, I think data is required, and analytics is required across almost every single element of the life cycle of an employee, right from recruitment to onboarding to learning, performance, the entire spectrum. So those I think are now a bit are table stakes and should be there in most companies. Unfortunately, they're not. That's the reality. Very few companies actually look at everything and are able to then sort of comprehensively look at everything in collision. For us, like I mentioned, talent is a combination of everything, and the outcome of that is really what I would like to call an employee profile, right? And that really talks about everything that the person has got. What are the skills? What is the past history been? What was the rating? How is the person doing? Comparative studies, the entire spectrum. But more importantly, from a company perspective, what it helps us do is actually target very specific things. So if I have a skills framework and I can see that the skills of the future are not available in this specific department, then I know what is the L&D program that I need to run, right? That's a definitive direction that I can now take for this specific target audience. I can also run some assessments and get some more data. Beyond that, if there's a succession plan that is actually coming up, who are the right people that I need to put into that succession plan? What is the growth path that these people need to have? All of that is all basis data. And this is also fairly transparent to the employee as well. But I'll give you an example of something that happened. Was somebody wanted to actually get a branch manager, and then that's where data came into play. Like it happens in most large organizations, they said, I believe this person should be the branch manager because I work with him, I trust him, get him in. And I'm sure George will sort of understand what I'm talking about. Most CXOs will do this. And then somebody else said, no, look at this person because he's worked with me and I vouch for him. So HR said, good. Both of them are good. However, how do we decide now? Why don't we ask the system to tell us what does it have to say? So they ran the system, and the system said, basis this requirement, should have been there for 5 years, should have been about 4.5 rating, should have done these courses, blah, blah, blah. It threw up 5 additional people who were spread across the country. And that is only because they had the data in that organization that the system was able to give them that, look at these 5 as well. So they said, who are these 5 people? We've never heard of them. So they called them in, they interviewed them, and then one of them actually became the branch manager. It was not the person recommended by the first CXO or the second CXO. So even democratizing data, even democratizing talent is something that only data can do. You cannot actually get this without having the data. So that's something that happens. And then finally, there is the whole AI side of it, right? If you don't have the data, you'll not be able to move along the AI path. But yeah, there's lots that data can potentially do. And the problem is sometimes that if you don't have the right system guarding it, then data can also be misconstrued in whatever way and form that you want. That's another negative side of it. But yeah, those are some
I know
that we live in.
So the data has to be authentic, but then it helps you make really, really authentic decisions as well. So thanks for sharing that, Mrigank. I think every step of the life cycle, as you said, Data can be used to understand what's working, what make better decisions based on them. But that's way forward, I think, when it comes to measuring the effectiveness or impact of all your EX related initiatives. George, I think this landscape of employee experience is always constantly evolving, particularly in industries like mobility, where innovation drives change. So, are you seeing any emerging trends or challenges, especially in the future of EX, and how are you preparing to address these?
First of all, I would like to thank Margaret for the expression of democratizing the data. It is a very good expression which represents actually what we need to do about the data and the behavior with the data. Regarding your question, like about the landscape of the experience, that it is evolving, of course, in some areas like the mobility. The future of employee experience in the mobility sector is being shaped by emerging trends and challenges, driven by rapid technological advancements, shifting workforce expectations, and the need for the sustainability. These
Yes.
three keys shape how we are see the trends and how we face the challenges into this. Some of the emerging trends and the challenges may be in the hybrid and flexible work models. The challenge in this, of course, is balancing the flexibility of employees' demands with the need for collaboration, innovation, and operational efficiency. What we did at GB Corp is that we introduced a work from home and a hybrid work policy with clear guidelines and flexibility tailored to specific job rules using digital collaboration tools and redesigned workspace that foster in-person creativity while accommodating remote productivity. Another thing is personalization of employee experience, personalization of the EX. The challenge is that we are meeting diverse employee needs and expectation for growth, well-being, recognition, many diverse employee needs. What we did is that we use the AI, we leverage the AI and data analytics to create a personalized career path, as I told, wellness programs and recognition system as well. We are working on offering flexible benefits package that cater to various life stages and priorities. One thing also we focus on sustainability and the ESG. As I told you, we are very focusing on the sustainability and the ESG, and we even in attracting talent, we are trying to attract talent that prioritize companies with a strong commitment to sustainability and social impact, technology integration. Of course, that challenge to stay ahead of the curve, adopting technologies like AI, AR, and VR, and to enhance a lot to enhance the employee experience. You can name it from workforce reskilling, adaptability, employee well-being, and mental health, the diversity and inclusion. A lot of this. But of course, what I can say is that GB Corp's commitment to innovation in the industries we are working in uniquely position us uniquely to lead in employee experience as well by staying agile, investing in technology, putting people at the center of our strategy. By this, we can adapt to the changing landscape and continue to set benchmarks in the EX.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, George. I think the final statement that you said, that you'll continue to invest in technology, remain agile, and keep people at the center if you have to deal with all the change. Yeah, so that's how you evolve. No matter how many disruptions happen, no matter what kind of changes come, your organization will remain prepared to manage the expectations of your employees and align them with the goals of the organization. So thank you for sharing that. Coming to the final question for this interview, it's a quick rapid fire again to end, George. Just one line, one statement each. If you could start, stop, or continue one key practice to enhance the employee experience at GB Corp, what would it be? Just one line each. What would you start? What would you stop? What will you continue?
One line. One line. Okay. To start is to proactively cultivating cross-generational mentorship programs. Stop Stop the idea of having the one-size-fits-all policies.
Lovely.
Continue is to have the adaptability and sustainability as our core values in and champion this the sustainability and adaptability at GB Corp.
Lovely. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Mrigank, I have the same question for you also before we wrap up. So if you could start, stop, or continue one key practice for EX, what would that be?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I'm not sure that I can speak for anybody else, but for I think overall for most CHRs, what I would recommend is what they should start is embracing AI.
Yes.
As a non-coder, if I can sort of start understanding it, then there is a lot more that can be done by CHRs and the overall environment. And that's the start doing. What they should stop doing is limiting themselves to silos. I mean, really, the world is now an oyster. Anything that you can potentially imagine is now possible if you just put your mind to it. And of course, there are systems and processes that we need to sort of settle around it. That's definitely something to do. And the second thing that I would definitely want them to sort of start getting in tune with the younger generation, the front line. They are the future. They have a very different way of thinking, and it's very few people. I mean, I can almost hear it from when George speaks that he's one of those leaders who actually understands what's happening in the market, but a lot of people don't. So I would really request them to just sort of get out there and start understanding what's happening in the market, and stop doing is taking things for granted. This is everything will be the way that it will be. It's not going to be. Things will change for sure, and they're changing faster than we can imagine. So
Exactly. Yeah, great points. I think I must say, if leaders could follow these few examples, suggestions and advices by George and Mrigank, I think there's a very long way to go. So on that note, George, Mrigank, that was all the time I had for this episode. So thank you so much for delving into this concept of moments of truth and answering our questions with such depth and clarity. I think your insights on how culture can impact employee experience, what technology can do there, how data can, provide you with strategies for a comprehensive understanding of what's working, what's not, how important it is to create those moments of matter at every stage of the life cycle of your employee, be it from the moment they're being hired to their performance, to their learning and development, to the time they exit, overall creating that personalized experiences with them, and finally bringing together their purpose in life and aligning them to the vision of the organization. I think those are the moments that help you create an employee experience that truly matters. So thank you so much for sharing your time and such insightful thoughts with us. Thanks, George. Thanks, Mrigank.
Thank you. Thanks for time, and sorry for taking a long time to prepare for
No, not at all.
But the end of year exercise and everything. And thanks for the wrapping you did to the whole interview. You did it in one paragraph, very smartly. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mrigank, for his very insightful ideas and inputs. Really appreciated your efforts.
Thank you, George. I'd love to sort of get onto a separate call with you sometime, if that's all right.
Sure.
I asked my team to set up a short 30-minute call with you.
It'll be my pleasure.
And I look forward to interacting with you. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to our wonderful guests, and thank you for our viewers for tuning into this 5th episode of Through the People Lens, Reimagining Workforce on Talent, brought to you by ETHRWorld EMEA and PeopleStrong. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes. Until then, take care and bye-bye.